Alright, I'm about to go to bed, but me and my friend were looking through, we were looking through the Marvel database. That's what it is. I've got it on my other screen. Why am I confused? The Marvel database looking for characters that we really wanted in the game. And I think I found Peak. Let me move these tabs over so I don't spoil this shit, because it's Peak. So let's go ahead and take a look. First up, Dr. Bong. That's right. Dr. Bong. Put this motherfucker in the game. And no, he's not just a bit character. He's not just. He is a bit. He's really funny. His name is very funny. He's a bell. But genuinely. Well, first off, look at his build. Look at his build. This guy's definitely a tank. There's no way you can. That guy's a tank. And then you're like, well, what does he do? How does he fight? Well, it's he's super genius. Whatever. That's his only power, right? No. No. Apologies. Here it is. Dr. Bong wears a helmet shaped like a bell and wears a large metal ball in place of his severed left hand. By striking the ball against his helmet, he creates sonic vibrations which can produce a wide variety of effects. They can, for example, have concussive force, or can temporarily paralyze a living being, create a nearly impenetrable sonic barrier, or teleport Bong or someone else in his vicinity to another location. That's a full tank kit. He's got a primary fire, bong bong bong. He has a stun. Sorry, wrong hand. Bong bong bong. He has a stun, bong bong bong. And he has a shield, bong bong bong. And he can also use movement on himself or a teammate. Crazy work. I don't know how. I don't know how. I've been playing Overwatch recently. Like in my free time, like if we're doing really bad on Rivals tonight, we did really bad on Rivals tonight, we just switched to Overwatch. We're not very good at Overwatch. We have just started playing the game 2 days ago, but it's fun because it feels very different from Rivals. And I play tank, my buddy plays DPS when we play Overwatch. And the one thing that I like, even if they don't have a shield, they have some sort of damage reduction. So you can give his shield, give him like a Ramatra shield, where it's nigh infinite health, but only for a short period of time, and it's limited in where you can place it and where you're looking. You can't just swap it, or just some sort of right in front of him. Boom! It's up there for a certain amount of time. It's got a meter on the left, like the rogue block. Or the blade block, and he can't do anything else while he's holding it up, and it's just like damage negation for everyone and for everyone behind him. Negation, not full damage reduction. I think that's fine. And it's got like a cooldown and an energy bar you gotta manage. I think that's fine. I have a video about like main tanks coming up again because I saw another one. But we are off topic. So he can have some sort of shield or damage reduction with the bell, because that's the impenetrable sonic barrier. Movement, teleport Bong or someone else in his vicinity to another location. It's like blah blah blah, it's a device and not actually him. But you could assume that like he teleports, he's either got two abilities like mag, one that's tied to one button, where he can teleport himself somewhere else. You use it as just himself, like a Phoenix Dash. It's just a short teleport. Use some sort of teleport thing, or you can make it exclusively to help his team, and he teleports his team. Though that would require teamwork, and I don't know about that one because people don't really like to talk or communicate in this game. But temporarily paralyze a living being. He has a stun. I think that's fine. And even if you don't put the stun in his main kit, what I think would be really funny is he just like hits his head a bunch for his ultimate. He just hits his head a bunch, and it's like Wanda's E, but constant. He gets like overhealth, or damage reduction while he's in his ult, and then he just stuns in an area, because it would be one of the only tank ults in the game that Gambit can't just cleanse his way out of, because every other one, Gambit just cleanses his way out of, and you just don't do anything. He could still technically cleanse out of this one, but, I mean, there's no real point, because you're just going to get stunned again. One, I think he's really funny, and two, that he's number one on my list of weird, obscure characters that I want, because he's really funny and actually has decent material for a tank kit. And because it's just vibrations, you can really do whatever you want, because nobody really knows this guy. He's a Howard the Duck character. He's in Howard the Duck, She-Hulk, and Deadpool. Like, you can be silly with it. He gives you the ability to be silly with it. I think that's goated. Oh. We're on to our next one. And it's awesome. It's my favorite. We've got two-legged rat. He's got a gun. I don't know what you do with this guy. He's definitely a duelist. He's a two-legged rat. He appears in 2 comic books. And there's only 3 images of him. It's fucking awesome. Wait. Here we go. He's on the cover of this one. No, wait, that's the cat. He is on the cover right there. Took a second for that to go away. But he's on the cover of that one. He's on the cover of this one and that one. And the only thing that's in his character profile, I'm sure you read it already. The two-legged rat was a resident of Springdale, Connecticut, who went on a shooting spree targeting cats. He was part of this weird plot with Speedball, blah blah blah, cat powers, and a kinetic transmitter. Turned out, after I did all my research, he didn't even have... He wasn't actually a rat, just a guy in a mask. Very disappointing. But Rivals could just change that, honestly. They could just say, in our universe, he's a rat man. And I think that's fucking awesome. Yeah. Sugar Man. This guy looks fucking awesome. And genuinely, either you give him like some sort of block like that, he's fucking awesome in the fact that I also think he looks silly. And his name is Sugar Man, right? I think he's silly. I think he's very funny. But he's got a tongue of indeterminate length that's able to pierce almost anything, including stone, steel, and even beings in gaseous or liquid form. Genuinely, goated, that could be some sort of piercing attack, similar to how Reed's sweep can hit them and move them. It's a piercing, so it like pierces through people, and then he can move them. But he actually moves the character, and that's like some sort of CC, or maybe that he just licks them as his primary. But he can control his own mass, so he can become denser. And even if you don't, because the video that I want to talk about tanks, and I want to be like, I disagree with his opinion, it was like, we shouldn't be asking for more shield tanks in the game, because Mag and Emma are pretty much bread and butter. Mag, Emma, and Strange are pretty much bread and butter shield tanks. And after playing Overwatch, I disagree. It's because no other tank in this game has any sort of damage reduction that's worthwhile to use. Because Thing has it, but it's really not very worthwhile to use unless you're going back to save them. It's not useful for yourself. But every single tank in Overwatch has damage negation. Characters like Mauga or Orisa or Diva, if they were in Marvel Rivals, and because they're in Marvel Rivals, they don't get damage negation, they would get extra health whenever they do things. If characters with their kits, is what I mean, were in Marvel Rivals, they would be off tanks. They would not get value by standing in front of their team and tanking. I want tanks with shields all the time in that video. I mean, I want tanks that make space by standing in front of their team, tanking, and making space. And making space that way. Because almost every other tank in the game does not excel at that. They excel at the opposite, which is making space by going into their team and disrupting their team. Anyways, size and mass alteration. He can make himself bigger, more denser, damage negation without actually being a shield. That's good. And size. He can regenerate, so damage negation or some sort of bonus health. So like I said, I've been playing Overwatch. They've got all the tanks have this orange health that can be healed up, or if you're out of battle for a little bit, it generates as like overshield. Give him that, so it's not a broken form of regeneration. Like Wolverine's gives him a second health bar. Deadpool's prevents him from being bursted down too fast, and it heals him when he's out of combat, and it heals him when he gets too low. He has a hammer and an axe and guns, so he could be melee. He could be long range. Genuinely, fuck it. Give this man whatever you want. His main attack weapon's probably going to be his tongue anyways. Do whatever you want. I think he's obscure. Not many people know of this man. At least I didn't know of this guy until I went on this crusade. He's got a lot of appearances as far as these obscure people go. And so you can do whatever you want. There's a lot of inspiration. I think he's an interesting character. He's got an interesting power set. Crazy good tank. Toth. Now, Toth, I think, would be a crazy good tank or tank hybrid with DPS. Or tank hybrid with support. And I know people say support tank hybrids are bad for the game. Never do it. I disagree, because look at Penny. Penny essentially became a tank support hybrid by giving everybody movement speed boost, overshield, and movement speed boost, overshield, movement speed boost, overshield, and healing over time just by standing in their webs. Penny didn't become broken overnight because of that. Penny was already broken because of the Rocket team up. So I just think that it's really not that big of a deal if it's handled correctly. Because let's say there's somebody that does... They can't do too much healing, but like they hand out stat boosts to their team. If they hand out stat boosts to their team, that's a fine, even if it's not healing, that's a fine support hybrid sort of thing. Like Storm is a DPS support hybrid in theory because of the damage boost and the speed boost that they can hand out, even though the speed boost is kind of never worth it. But I think this guy's cool. I know him from Strange Academy. He's a crystal guy who's learning magic, so he'd be another mystic character. And by another mystic character, I mean our second, technically third, because magic is no. It would be our third, technically fourth mystical character. Because you have Strange Wanda. I'm pretty sure it's just Strange Wanda. And then Magic is Sorcerer Supreme of Limbo. Sorceress Supreme. Not always shown. It's not super depicted. It's more of her... It more depicts her X-Men appearances than her mystical appearances. But technically she would be a third. So he'd be like our fourth mystical character. Which... saying like we got all the Guardians of the Galaxy, we got all the Avengers, well, all the Avengers in the MCU. The Avengers have a wide variety of casts in the comics, but sorry, I got lost. I think he'd be cool. I like this guy. I know who he is, but he doesn't appear very often. He doesn't have a large history, but his ability, there is not Toth Marvel images. Like, he does not have the build for tank. He's kind of wiry is the word I'm looking for. He's kind of wiry and doesn't really have the bulk on him, but I think that's fine because his powers are: Toth has the natural ability to generate shape and manipulate crystals. Toth can, in the event that he is shattered, be put back together with a specific spell. However, most of his body pieces must be present, including his heart shard. I think that would be a cool ability. if you kill him, he shatters, and his heart shard is left on the ground. Give it like 250 HP. Give him a spell, an ability. Like, it'd be similar to Adam's. It'd be similar to Adam's self-res, except he wouldn't be able to reposition. It would be there. You'd have to use the ability, pop, and then be on like a 60-second cooldown. And they could probably kill it before, if you can. They kill it before you can get it off, then you die for real. That's cool. He's got this energy breath thing. Because crystal kinesis, he has the natural ability to generate shape and manipulate crystals. He can make walls. He can like use it to, you know how Frozone makes the spikes that go at people? Something like that Frozone does, just to push people back or something. You could do a lot with just the ability to generate shape and manipulate crystals. There's a lot you can do with that. So that gives a lot of room for his base kit, and then he has a lot of he has a lot that you can do with his base kit just with that one ability. But what I'm really excited for is energy breath. He doesn't open his mouth that much, but he's able to unleash a potent energy blast. That's peak ult. He doesn't do it much. Pow, pew, it does a thing. What it does, I don't know. Maybe it stuns. It's just an energy blast, so it's probably just going to be a lot of damage. Maybe a lot of damage, and at the end, he generates a wall of crystals that you'll have to break through to get to the people who just got damaged. But I think he's cool. I think he'd be a cool character. And I just spent a lot of time going to the Marvel database to make a video on what obscure characters can I find that I think would make good Rivals characters. And I think 3 of the 4 I showed would make great Rivals characters. The only one I think wouldn't is Two-Legged Rat. I think he's awesome. I think he's funny. I think if people heard Two-Legged Rats being added to the game, it's going to generate buzz. Not because people love him, but because they'll be confused and they'll be laughing. But anyways, let me know what you think. Let me know what characters down in the comments below. Why don't you guys tell me why don't you tell me what obscure characters you want to see added to Marvel Rivals? I feel like I'm begging for attention when I say shit like that, but genuinely I want to know, because especially with obscure characters like Dr. Bong, I do genuinely want to see him. But and Toth, I genuinely want to see Toth in this game, hopefully as some sort of tank, or I guess DPS, but tank or support would be my pick. But that's pretty much it for today. Like, comment, subscribe, and content should be on a regular schedule starting at least midway through this week. I'll see you guys later. Wet Willy.